And so we got to realize this, that when God makes a promise, somebody say a promise, he will always fulfill his promise. So you never have to concern yourself with whether God will keep his promise. Because God is a promise-keeping God. And he always keeps his word. Tell your neighbor, God always keeps his word. So the concern is not whether God will fulfill the promise. Can I tell you what our concern is? Our concern is with this word, when. Now, ain't nobody going to be real right now. See, that's our concern is, when will God make good on this promise? We struggle with the when. Now, I know you don't want to nudge your neighbor and say that, the pastor's telling the truth there, because you're so spiritual, you act like, you don't struggle with the when. Well, I want to serve notice on you. I've been saved for over 20-some years, and I struggle with the when. Yeah, you can say you drink coffee with God, and you sleep with God, and you do all of that, but I do some of that too, but I still struggle with the when. Come on, somebody. I struggle with that, I struggle with, when is he going to turn it around, and when is he going to fix it? Somebody say, I know that's right. When is he going to deliver, and when is he going to heal? I'm tired of dealing with this infirmity in my body. When is he going to restore? I'm tired of this mess going on in my life. When is he going to open this door? You said it 3 years ago, and I'm still waiting. Every time I go to the door, it's still shut. When are you going to open that door? Oh, come on, somebody. And when are we going to possess the plaza? Oh, I'm sorry, brother. And when are we going to see the promised seed that God promised Abraham? It's the wind. It's the wind that gets us, the wind, or you can call it the weight. It's the weight. And this is what the devil capitalizes on many times in our life. He capitalizes on that weight thing, because he tries to get us to doubt God, because the longer we wait, the more he speaks in our ear. I know y'all too spiritual. He doesn't speak in your ear, but I got to be honest. Every now and then he speaks in my ear. I know you got shake over my big eye, and I try to rebuke him, but every day he comes back and speaks in my ear and say, "You sure you heard from God?" Am I in the right church? Am I talking to the right people? Yeah, have you ever got that? You just got a prophetic word from the Lord. You got a word from the man of God or the woman of God, and all of a sudden, 6 months later, the devil says, "You sure that's... You sure God was speaking to you, and it wasn't a person beside you?" Yeah, he uses that wait time to sometimes, distort our thinking, and that we might doubt God, and to get us to become discouraged, so that we will step out of the will of God prematurely. Can I say it this way? So you will step out of character and hopefully make a bad decision that's counterproductive to the promise God made to you. I'm talking to somebody right now. Last year you made some decisions that were counterproductive to what you know God had said, because you got tired of waiting. But I'm here to tell you that God says the promise is going to be worth the wait. So get back in line, keep waiting, and understanding that if God has made a promise, God's going to make sure that he fulfills his promise. Because the enemy, he will play on your emotion. Yeah, he'll play on your mind. He'll try to get you to thinking, are you sure that was God? And it's strange how, 6 months ago, you knew without a shadow of a doubt it was God. But then it's a year later, and you're wondering, is that really God? You were sure that what he said, that was the strategy. And then it's 2 years later, you're not quite sure if that's still the strategy. In fact, you try to tweak it a little bit. We started finagling with stuff like Abraham and Sarah did. When time elapses and it's been just a wee bit too long for our comfort level, Because you know, we got different comfort levels, and you know, some of us, we can go 6 months and we okay. We still locked into God. And some of us can go a year or two and we still locked in. Some of us can maybe even go out to 7 years and we're okay. But don't let it get around that time frame. All of a sudden now, we're not locked in as we were. We're not as confident. We don't even talk the same way. You know, you ever got a word from God and it was fresh? And your conversation is different. The pep is in your step, and you know your shoulders are erected, and you're walking a certain way because you said, yeah, thus said the Lord. God said it. That settles it. I'm with it. And then we find you 3 years later. How you doing, sis? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. God's good, isn't it? Good. God's good. You're forcing yourself to say things that you had no problem saying 3 years ago, because all of a sudden now the enemy has been speaking in your ear and sowing seeds of doubt, making you think that maybe that wasn't what God said, you know, and maybe you think if God really said it, it would have happened by now. But I'm going to let you know something. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy, in other words, God's got his timing. It was Job that said, after I have been tried, I'm coming forth as pure gold. There's an appointed time. Job said, I'm just going to wait until my train comes. I want to speak to some of y'all right now who's been almost ready to jump the fence. I'm going to tell you, the devil is a liar. Don't you jump over that fence. If you jump over that fence, you're going to jump into a whole heap of trouble. As the old folks used to say, you better just maintain your ground and just wait until your change comes. Because what God has promised for you, baby, it's going to be worth the wait. It's a pressed down, shaken together, running up. Somebody better talk back to me. Don't make no crazy premature decisions that's counterproductive to what God has promised you. If God has said, lock yourself in the house and say, no matter what, I'm going to keep holding on to the horn